Hey everyone, welcome back to my studio. This is part 3 in a series where I take you through all of my gear, my guitars, amps, and pedals. Please go check out parts 1 and 2 where I show you my guitars and amps. But today I'm taking you through my many guitar pedals, and I also have 2 pedal boards. So right now I'm showing you my smaller pedal board. I built this recently because I'm doing Beatles covers, and I'm filming at my desk, and it makes it easier for me to record and film at the same time and click on a boost pedal or whatever I need to do. And so it's mostly 1960s kind of style pedals. You won't see any flangers or chorus or phaser or anything like that on here. So today I'm using my Epiphone Casino into my 1965 Fender Bassman. And from right to left, this is the Analogman Sunbender Mark 1.5, based on the Tonebender Fuzz Mark 1.5. So there were many iterations of the Tonebender, which was a British fuzz made in the 60s. And this one is based on the Fuzz Face. It has 2 germanium British transistors, as opposed to other Tonebenders, which had 3 transistors. And the Beatles did use this Mark 1.5. So here's my clean tone. It's a great sounding fuzz. Then I have the Analogman Bad Bob Boost pedal. This is just a Class A transistor clean boost pedal. It has a volume knob on the left and a drive knob on the right. The drive knob doesn't crank the gain like you might think it would. At 100%, the knob at 100%, it's the normal sounding boost pedal, but then you can turn it down and get less crunch. Next is the Analogman King of Tone. This is a really popular overdrive pedal that people talk about all the time. Has a lot of hype around it because there's a wait list in order to get one. And I think it's worth the wait. I waited 2.5 years to get on the top of the wait list. But right now, if you got it, it's more like 4 or 4.5 years. I got mine in the spring of 2019, and it's the normal gain version on both sides. So on the right side, it's the overdrive. And on the left side is a boost. And both sides together, it's louder. I love that pedal. It's my favorite overdrive. And then this is the JHS Angry Charlie. It's based on a Marshall JCM 900 pedal, which was from the 80s. So you might be wondering why I have a 1980s amp style pedal on my board, but it's just to get a wider variety of crunch, something in between an overdrive and a fuzz.
Thank
はい。
Next, I have the Analogman Ross Compressor. It's based on the Ross compressor, which is kind of like a Dynacomp. And yeah, it's just a nice compressor pedal. It has this toggle switch, and that mimics the Rickenbacker compressor circuit. So I'm just going to keep it in the normal side, just the stock settings. And then with the Rick switch in the middle, it's much brighter. And then next is a really cool pedal. It's the Aclam Dr Robert Overdrive. And this is based on the Vox hybrid amp, the UL 730, which was used on Revolver and Sgt. Pepper. And it's really cool because the man Klaus Vormann, who designed the Revolver album cover, also designed the artwork on this pedal. And so it's really good for Beatles tones. So that's the normal side, and then on the left you can add a boost. It's called Maxon. Next is the Strymon Deco. This is based on tape machines. So on the left you have like a tape overdrive saturation. Which does sound really good, but I don't really use digital overdrive pedals. On the right side, it's really cool. It's kind of, it does the automatic double tracking that a lot of Beatles albums had. And this knob right here, if you move it around, you can get delay, you can get kind of a chorusing, doubling effect. It's really versatile, so I'll do some Beatles tones for you right now. Then if you turn the knob to the left, it can do kind of a flanging. This is a really cool pedal. And lastly, for my small pedal board is a volume pedal. It's an Ernie Ball VPJ, sorry. All right, so that's my smaller pedal board, and let's check out my large pedal board. So this is my large pedal board. This is what I normally was using before I made my smaller board for my covers and demos. And it's really huge. My dad built this for me, and it's 42 inches long, and I have a Voodoo Labs Mondo Power Plus under there to pedal all of these just in one ISO brick, which is pretty awesome. And from right to left, I have my Boss TU3 Waza tuner. Why would I get a special boutique tuner? That's a great question, but the answer really is it has a switchable true bypass and buffer switch. So if I have my vintage germanium fuzz pedals on here, I can, well, this is silicon actually, but anyway, into a vintage fuzz pedal, a buffer sounds really awful, so I can tune in true bypass and it will not affect my signal to the rest of my pedals. This is my RMC picture wah. It's based off of the Clyde McCoy Vox wahs. It's a vintage style. Scratchy there. Then I have my Analogman Sunface BC108 Silicon. And it cleans up great on the volume pedal. This is my Thorpy Fallout Cloud. It's a triangle, like early Big Muff style pedal. Got a lot of bass. And then I have my Maxon OD9 Tubescreamer. This is modded by Analogman. It's his classic mod, which makes it into a TS 808 circuit. Then this is my Wampler Plexi drive based on the Marshall 60s Plexis. Can put this boost side on as well. This is my Sweet Sound Mojo Vibe. So this is a Univibe style pedal made by Bob Sweet, who passed away, but his family continues on his good work. So that's the vibrato side, which is not always used as much as the chorus side, but gets kind of a nice chorusy effect. Put the chorus side on, which you'll be more familiar with. Sounds great with fuzz like Jimi Hendrix too. Then I have my 1975 MXR Phase 100 phaser pedal. This was famously used by Keith Richards and Jerry Garcia and The Clash. And it has a much more dramatic effect than the Phase 90 and the Phase 45, which were 4 and 2 stage phasers. This is a 6 stage. Turn the speed down. Here is my 1981 Boss CE1 chorus ensemble. This is the same circuit as the JC120 Roland Jazz Chorus amps. Has a chorus effect in it. It's the same thing. It was meant for keyboardists originally, and so this is modded by Analogman to have a guitar impedance input. It's actually the first ever Boss pedal that they ever made. It's huge. It has a vibrato side here as well. And this is my Analogman ARDX20 analog delay, and I love this because it has 2 sides to it and an A-B switch, so I can go from slap back and then I can also go to a longer delay. It's really nice. This is my Boss TR2 tremolo, also modded by Analogman. It has a waveform control. That's more of a square wave. This is a softer clipping waveform. Then I have another tremolo pedal here, but it's also a reverb. It's a Trem reverb all-in-one, the Strymon Flint. And the reverb has 3 different settings. I like to keep it on hall mode or spring as well. Then it has a harmonic tremolo mode. a switch here, I can take it from harmonic tremolo to just a normal trem. And lastly is my Strymon Leslie simulator, the Lex, and you can go from fast to a slow setting. So now that we've gotten through all those pedals, I want to switch out my board for the other effects that didn't make it onto the board so you can hear those as well. Alright, so here are all my other pedals that didn't fit onto the normal large board. So skipping the tuner and the wah, this is the Peppermint Fuzz by Analogman. This is based off of the Maestro fuzz tone from the 60s and all the kind of nasty buzzy tones you can get from it. And then another Analogman pedal. This is the envelope filter based on the MXR block logo envelope filter. And it also does a good job of the Electro Harmonix Qtron. And then I have this Watson Electronics Fuzz. It's based on the Univox Super Fuzz played by Pete Townsend, and it's an octave fuzz. Not like the ones Jimi Hendrix used, which were an octavio, and those only had certain harmonics on the upper parts of the neck, like the 12th fret, but this does an octave fuzz no matter where you are on the fret. It has a cool switch which brings the mids in or out. Where is it? I think that sounds a little worse though, depending what amp you're using, so I like the mids back in. And then Analogman Sunlion. So this is a cool pedal. It's a fuzz face on the right and a Beano boost on the left. The Beano boost is based on the treble booster, the Dallas Rangemaster. And so this is an NKT red dot fuzz on the right. Cleans up really well because it's a germanium fuzz. And then the Beano boost on its own into a clean big Fender amp like this doesn't sound great. It's a cool sound, but unless you have like a Vox amp or a Marshall, it's going to sound a little harsh without something after it. So I'm going to put this Analogman DS1 distortion, Boss DS1 Analogman modded distortion pedal, and then let's hear it afterwards with the Beano Boost in front of it. So it adds a little bit more presence and bite. I think it actually would be an even better example with the next pedal. This is a Ryra Clone, which is basically a Klon Centaur clone. And right now I have it more as an overdrive than a boost. And it's a great mid-hum to boost overdrive pedal. So let's hear the Beano Boost into that. It's a cool sound. I actually really like the Beano Boost into my King of Tone, which is right now on the smaller board. So it's cool. I sometimes use the Beano Boost into my Fender Champ to get a certain kind of gnarly sound as well. So turning this off now, I have a little TC Electronics Ditto Looper pedal right here, and I'll show you what that does. So I can do a loop, essentially, and then play over it. I'll play over it. So that's really fun to just kind of jam with yourself. Skipping my chorus ensemble pedal we already heard. So this is a digital delay pedal by Strymon called the El Capitan, and this does an emulation of the Maestro EP3 tape delay, solid state tape unit, and it's got a really great sound. Has a lot of cool settings we can do, but I'm just gonna play that for now because there's just so much I can do. I won't get into all of that. Then I have another Analogman pedal. Yes, I know. It's a BiChorus, which is a chorus effects pedal, and it's based off the Electro Harmonix small clone used famously by Kurt Cobain. And it's cool because it has two settings, a fast setting and a slow setting. It'd be fun to compare that actually to the CE1 while we have it here. It's kind of cleaner and a little more swirly sounding than the CE1, not as shimmery, a little darker. So it's really nice chorus pedal. And then lastly, This is a Thorpy camo flange. It's a flanger pedal, and it's not really based off anything necessarily. It's just a really solid flanger with a lot of different tweakability settings. Let's get some overdrive going on with that. Oops. Get a little faster too. All right, so I've taken you through basically all of my pedals. I have a few more that I didn't play, but essentially these are the ones that I really use most of the time. And yeah, it's nice to have two separate boards. I can do a lot from my desk now, and also if I need any interesting effects, I can go to the large pedal board. And yeah, it's an addiction, pedals. You got to be careful, clearly. But thank you for joining me on my studio tour. It was a lot of fun to go through all of my gear and for me to hear the differences in it as well. So have a good one. Thank you.